Hey everyone. So I just want to take you through how you can script a simple UI action. What I'm going to do is let's move this here out the way. So once you get to a form, we're going to be working on the incident form. You know the way to navigate to a UI action is by going to the context menu or additional actions, going down to configure, and then going over to UI actions. Now, the use case that we're using for today is that on the incident table, which is where we are, we're in a record that's in the incident table. We need a test button to display. So one of these, we want a test button to pop up here to display when a user selects the S-phone category, S-phone model category, which is here, while the incident is in progress. So if I do S-phone model and in progress, nothing pops up. They want a button to pop up named test. And then once that button is pushed, we need channel, which is here, to become phone for the record to be updated. So I'm going to change this back and we're going to go ahead and configure this UI action. So I'm going to go to context menu, configure UI actions. So it puts us, we can go ahead and leave it. So it puts us on the UI actions for the incident table. That's what this filter is for. I'm going to go ahead and select new. Oops, I didn't mean to submit that. Okay, there it is. Okay, and once we get here, we want to figure out what is what is the UI action doing? We need to name it as well. Let's see. I'm gonna just do S-phone model in progress. I'm not the best at naming, so if you think of a better name, you name it something, simple, short, concise. The table is already selected for us. And then what we want to happen, what our UI action is a form button. So I'll click that. And nothing else really matters here. If you do want to see like what these are for, what action name is for, you can go on over to your UI action product documentation link. Yeah, let's move this out the way. Product documentation link, and they'll take you through what each field is for so you can know. So client, for example, the UI action executes its script in the user's browser, not on the server. When enabled, the on-click field appears, so you can determine if you need that. We don't. And then override specifies the UI action that this UI action overrides. So this UI action isn't overriding another UI action. So we're good on that as well. We have button click so that one of these pops up whenever our condition is met. You don't necessarily have to fill in any of these for this per se. If you are working a job, maybe they may want message or comments, but it'll be specified. For now, we can just focus on the condition field, which is our trigger basically, and then our script field, which is what is executed whenever the button is actually clicked. So now I'm just going to pull this down because I've already taken some notes. So what is triggering the UI action? From our statement up here, we see that when the user selects, I'm sorry if you hear puppies, but there are puppies in the background. My dog just had puppies. When the user selects S-phone model as the category while the incident is in progress, those are our triggers. And then, so now you're like, well, what do we do from here? Well, what we need to do is gather the field names and choice values for everything that's involved in our condition, and that would be involved in our script. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Excuse me for that. So we're trying to figure out what's going on in our condition and what's going on in our script. Now, to figure out what goes into these fields, we need to go back to our incident table record at that. So I'm just going to right click on this tab and hit duplicate tab so that I get another version of my instance. I'm going to go to all. Well, really, I could go to history if it's in this one. Yep, incident. Is this the one I was on? All right. So once I get to here, I'm going to gather the field name and choice values for what's up here. So I need category is S phone. I need state is in progress. And I also need channel is phone. So I'm going to hover over the field name. I'm going to right click. If you're on a MacBook, you're going to use 2 fingers and then click down on your keypad, on your mouse pad. I'm going to go to configure dictionary. And I have my thing, my sticky note pulled up here so I can just copy and paste what I need on over. So I'm just going to double click in the column name, which is your field name, and I'm going to control C. And you want to make sure you're copying these things, because any small inconsistency with spelling and things like that will make your script not work. So that is the field name. I'm going to scroll down to the choices. And what choice are we looking for? We're looking for S phone model. So I'm going to get that value. I'm going to get the choice value, not the choice label. Okay. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, and right beside category, I'm just going to add that right beside it. So I'm going to do that for each field. So state is next. I'm going to go hover over state, right click, get that column name. I'm going to Control C that, enter, trophy, space, go down to the choices. Now here you'll see numbers, and that is all right. So we're just going to take 2. Control C on 2. They're right beside state. We're going to go back. We're not changing anything, so you shouldn't have to like save or update the page before you can leave the page. Channel is the last one that we need, because this is what's actually changing. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Channel. Okay, so the name of channel is contact type. So we're just going to take contact type. Oopsie. Control C. It says it's a string though. Okay, it's okay. Everything's adding up. It's right below it. So we're going to Control C on contact type, and we're getting phone, the phone value. Control C. It's these spaces. I'm going to make sure I don't get the space whenever I'm pasting it in. That's going to be very important. All right, so we have all of the field names and choice values that we need. So let's go back to our UI action tab and start filling this out. So our trigger is that whenever you're on a record, so whenever you're currently on a record, correct, we need category to be S phone. So what does that look like in a script version? It looks like starting with current, and then whatever that field name actually is. So for condition, we're going to type in current. Oopsie. We're going to type in current and a period, and then we're going to paste the field name in. So category. You see how that space is in there? We don't want that space. So you're just going to hover over category, drag your mouse, Control C, and Control V that right on in. Now we have the current. So the current record that we're on, we have the field name. When that field is set to a certain choice, which is S phone model. So we're just gonna copy S phone model, Control C, and there's a certain operation that we're gonna use, which is 2 equal signs. When it is equal to space, we're gonna hit it with quotations and copy in that choice value. Hit it with some more quotations. And then after that, we have another condition or trigger. So it's 2 things. We want S category to be S1 model, but we also want the current state. So we'll copy state. We also want the current state. Control V. We're not typing anything in that we don't have to other than our operators, the quotations, and the objects. So now we have the field name in. What is next is setting our operator for that current field. We want state to be equal to what? We want state to be equal to 2. I typed in 2 because it's no letters. I can't mess 2 up. It's it's just 2. And what am I missing though? I'm missing the quotations. So let's put quotations around 2. Oh, wait a minute. Quotations around 2. Usually you want to end off every line of code with a semicolon, but that doesn't, it's not, you don't need it for this condition field right here. So now we'll go ahead and move on to our script. What is happening whenever our condition is met and the test button appears at the top? We need the channel field to become phone and for the record to be updated. So how would I do this? And how would you even come up with something like this? Well, on that same UI action product documentation, they have using UI action condition builder. And they have this format here for you. It's very similar to what we did, right? Current dot field name is equal to a certain value. And they have something else about like if the current user has a certain role. So they're using GS has role. But you still see that same current blank blank and then current dot field. You see the 2 equal signs as the operator. So now what about what happens below that in our UI action script? So we see that there's a similar syntax format, but it's called syntax, which is an object dot a method and then something inside of the method's quotations. So oops, we're on this one. So but what we're trying to do is we're trying to change the current. So we're on this incident record, we're trying to change this current field's value. So we're going to start this off with current again, because here they use action, but oops, we're not using action. We're using current because we're trying to change the current field on the current record that we're on. So current, click back into it, dot, you see oh, there we go. Typo. But yeah, so if you do current dot the field's name, which we have right here, contact type, make sure we don't get that space. Oh, why is it doing this? Okay, here we go. Contact type, Control C on that, Control V. And now we're just going to do 1 equal sign. Because it's changing to it. We're not really saying that it has to be it. So I think that's the difference between a double equal sign is equal to and 1 equal sign is changing to. We need it to be this choice value, which is phone. So I'll Control C on that. When I get here, I'm going to Control V on that. And then what am I missing? Quotations. I always do that. So you want to put quotations around whatever your choice values are. And now we're at the end of this line of code. So we're going to hit it with a semicolon. And we'll move on to our next line of code. Whenever we get here, I want to go back and highlight that this right here says to direct a user to a record. Now, usually when you hit save on a record, you want to stay on that form to make sure that the record or that the change was saved and made correctly. So we want to use this same syntax for our UI action. So what I'm going to do is that this same action, and I can hit copy on it, right? So I just hit this button right here. I just selected it. And on this, I don't mean to keep dragging stuff. on this second line of code, I'm just going to hit Control V. It sets this entire line of code for me. So we're creating an action to redirect the URL, which is basically going to, like, if you refresh this page, it redirects the URL to this current page. And so how would we redirect the URL to the current page we're on? We would just take out new record and use current. 2 R's, Kalisha. It's okay. You got it, girl. All right. Our semicolon is here. Everything right here is perfectly fine. Now, what do we want to do to solidify the changes, the update that we just made to the form, right? We want to use current again. After we use current, we want to do a period. If I can spell current right, what is up with me? Okay. We want to use current, hit it with a period, and now we want to use the method update. We want to hit it with some empty parentheses and end it off with a semicolon. So what is this saying? We're saying, hey, when the current category field is equal to S-phone model and the current state is equal to 2, which is in progress, we want the current contact type, which is the channel field, to be set to phone. We want the URL to be redirected to the current record that we're on, and we want the change to be saved. We want the record to be updated and saved. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead and hit submit on this. And we're going to travel back to, really don't even need this one, because if we need to, we can go back. But we're going to go to the history tab. We're going to go to the incident table, and we're going to see if this thing works. So when category is S-phone model and the state is new, and we save this. Oh, that's what I forgot. Remember we and I already actually created a test, but this is the name of our UI action we just created. So let me go back here and go to configure UI actions. And let's go to update it so that it puts it in order to what I just did. A while ago, let's see. Okay, September 15th, I actually used the same. I didn't even realize I did this. I created the same, like I just thought of this today, but it's because I thought of it September 15th, 5 months ago. But the name field is what will populate as the name of, that populates on the button of your UI action. So we named it S-phone model in progress. And that's why if we go to this history tab, and allow me please to turn this one off. I'm just going to select, double click on active and select it as false. But if we go back to the incident record, we see the button is named S-phone model in progress. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this. And we see that down here, the channel field, which the name of this channel field is contact type, it changed to phone for us. It's already selected. Did you notice that this form like reloaded and populated back on this form? That was because we did the actions reset, set redirect URL to the current record that we're on. And this actually is already saved. So if I was to click, this is incident 57. If I was to click off of this, you see it didn't ask me to save anything. Are you sure you want to leave? If I go back into it, S phone is still here, channel is still phone, and state is still in progress. And that is how you would script a UI action. All right, guys, I'll see you tonight in open hours, and thank you for listening.